Dear students, myself Kiran MP. I am working as assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering in Government Engineering College, Kushalnagar. Hope all of you remember in previous session 9 we had a discussion about date and time controls. I mean, we have discussed, suppose we want an input field that accepts date as an input. Okay, so what is that HTML5 control? Okay, through which I can make an input field to accept date. We had a discussion about it. Also, suppose I want an input field to accept time. So what is that HTML5 control which I should make use to make an input field to accept time? So also we are discussed about HTML5 control through which I can make an input field to accept both date and time. Also we have discussed, okay, HTML5 control to make an input field to accept a particular month in an year or to accept a particular week in an year. So now in today's session let me discuss about table and form accessibility. I think all of you remember we have already discussed about HTML tables. Clear? So now in this session I'm going to discuss suppose okay, I want to give a caption for the table. Suppose a table contains multiple headers. Okay, how we can make it? How we can make table to have a caption, table to have multiple headers, so column wise header as well as row wise header. And then we'll discuss about form accessibility. First, I will look at the agenda of the session. First, we'll discuss something about web accessibility. I mean to say, when you access some website on your desktop, okay, how it appears, okay, it won't appear in the same manner on your mobile. Clear? I mean to say, when you access the same website or your desktop or on your mobile, okay, the appearance may differ. And what is that reason? And how we can make the appearance to be same irrespective of whether I'm accessing on laptop or accessing on a smartphone. Got it? So this we'll discuss in web accessibility. Next, we'll discuss about web content accessibility guidelines. Next, we'll see accessing tables. Here, we'll discuss about multiple headers. Got it? Either column wise header or row wise header. Next, we'll wind up the session with discussing form accessibility. Web accessibility. Not all web users are able to view the content on web pages in the same manner. I said right, the one person viewing a web page, okay, on the smartphone might be different from the other person viewing the same web page on desktop. Yeah. So yeah, the term web accessibility refers to technologies, various HTML features, okay, that work with technologies and different coding and design practices that make site more usable for people with visual, mobility, auditory and cognitive disabilities. In order to improve the accessibility of website, the W3C created the Web Accessibility Initiative. Web Content Accessibility Guidelines provide text alternatives for any non-text content. Provide text alternatives for any non-text content so that it can be changed into other forms people need, such as large print, speech, symbols, or simpler language. Create content that can be presented in different ways. For example, simpler layout without losing information or structure. Make all functionality available from a keyboard. Provide ways to help users navigate, find content, and determine where they are. Now let me discuss about accessing tables. Okay, what actually caption? Okay, let me tell you. First, let me show some table with caption. Okay, first have a look at this table. Okay, here you on the in the first row of the table there are headers, right? Date, event, one year. Caption is concerts. Got it? This is the caption for the table. And how to give caption for the table we will discuss. So the table can be described. Okay, we can come to know what actually the contents in the table are looking at its caption. So I need to make use of caption tag within the table tag. Okay, suppose we have discussed table with single headers. Hope you remember. I mean, I have discussed tables with headers in the row wise. In the first row. Okay, I mean the first cell in each column. Okay, the first cell in each column used to contain an header. That is column wise header by default. Okay, so suppose you just have a look at the slide. You can see headers in the row as well as in the first column. First column and first row shows an header. Okay, this is nothing but a two headers table with two headers. So by default, always what we are saying single header table. The first cell in a column, I mean column wise, it's an header. Okay. So as you can see in this table, the first cell in each row is a header. We call is a row wise. So what is that code fragment to create this table? We'll look in the next slide. Okay, just have a look. Okay, see here. First, I'm creating the first. When I create the first row, okay, I said the first row. Okay, the cells, data cells in each data cells in first row are nothing but headers. So I'm using th tag. Now, in the subsequent rows, you know that the first cell is an header. So in the subsequent rows, for the first cell, I'm using th. Okay, whereas for the other cells, I'm using td. Got it? I repeat. Okay, once again I repeat. We know in the previous table, the first row, all cells in first row are headers. So I'm using th for all the cells in first row. Now for the subsequent rows, we know that only the first cell in the first cell in the row, okay, first cell in the row contains an header. So for the first cell in that row, I am using th, whereas for the subsequent cell in that row, I am using td. So this is how we can create multiple headers, either row wise or column wise. No, this is a table with irregular headers. When I think you remember we have discussed about column span, row span, right? Same way. Here you can see that in the first row, okay, the first cell, okay, it actually spans the second row, but empty content. Whereas the second cell in first row spans even the third column, whereas fourth column spans with fifth column. Okay, clear? The same what we have discussed, column span, row span, the same place here, same role plays here. Okay, just we need to make use of column groove. And this is the code fragment to create that irregular headers. Now caption. I said I need to make use of caption tag, and here there is only a single header. That's the first row of a table is an header. So I need to make use of caption tag, and for the first row I'm making use of th tag. So now let me discuss about form accessibility. So let me tell you, let me assume in a form there are two fields. Okay, one is a text box and other is a select menu. Got it? So for the text box, let me give an identification as F title. Got it? And for the select menu, let me give an identification F country. Clear? So now I can give label for this text box, okay, as well as for the select menu. To give label for this text box as well as select menu with identifications F title and identification F country, okay, I need to make use of label tag, okay, with property for, attribute for, and its value with the respective identifications of text box, select menu. This thing you can see in the code fragment. And this is how I can access the fields of the forms. Now let me wind up this session. Thank you.